Hey there, YouTube. Ed Beth and Bongs here. Thank you so much for joining me. So, I have some of my delicious Gorilla Glue here, as well as my White Fire OG batter. I'm gonna be chasing that down with some High Life. Because guess what? There is more bad news. Once again, religion has reared its ugly head, sowing its divisions within humanity, and causing sectarian violence in Jerusalem. Let's watch.
In Jerusalem's unhappy heart, an area holy to Jews and Muslims alike, some of the worst violence in years. Outside the Al-Aqsa Mosque, or Temple Mount to the Jews, Palestinians threw rocks at Israeli police, who fired tear gas, stun grenades and rubber bullets. This the anniversary of Israel's capture of East Jerusalem 54 years ago. More than 300 Palestinians were injured, along with 21 Israeli police. The latest flashpoint in one of the world's most intractable disputes. Videos posted on social media showed chaos inside the mosque early this morning, where many Palestinians had stayed all night. They threw stones or fireworks at Israeli police, who fired stun grenades from outside. This the Islamic world's third most holy site, near the end of the holy month of Ramadan.
There are many, dozens of injured, dozens of people who were injured from the bomb here and the bullets. It's amazing. This is a praying place, not for fight.
Just outside the old city, a dispute with an Israeli driver ended with him knocking a man down with his car after apparently losing control. He was set upon by Palestinians until an Israeli policeman intervened by firing into the air. Israeli police were also filmed repeatedly kicking a Palestinian they had captured as he lay on the ground. This explosion of anger is not just about the anniversary of occupation. Elections to a Palestinian parliament were last held 15 years ago, while Israel's Supreme Court is about to rule on the eviction of 6 Palestinian families from Jerusalem's Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. Israel has occupied East Jerusalem since the 1967 Arab-Israeli War. The main flashpoints right now are the Al-Aqsa Mosque near the Dome of the Rock inside the Old City, and the Damascus Gate in the Old City walls, where Israeli security barriers prevented Palestinians from gathering during Ramadan. And there's the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood, which has a mixed and contested Jewish and Arab history. Despite the violence, Jews continued praying along the so-called Wailing Wall after Israeli police banned those planning to enter the Al-Aqsa compound beyond.
And this moment is bittersweet. On the one hand, we celebrate Jerusalem Day. On the other hand, we realize that Jerusalem is not fully reunited and we are denied rights.
This afternoon, police rerouted thousands of far-right Israelis from marching through the old city's Muslim quarter. It was a bid to avoid the trouble escalating in territory claimed by two peoples as the site of their capital. But that wasn't enough for Hamas in the Gaza Strip, from where militants fired at least 7 rockets towards Jerusalem. There were no casualties, though 9 Palestinians were then reported killed by Israeli airstrikes in response. The Israelis say their military action could last several days, and both sides are bracing for more violence.
That's how you know you're living the high life. When you have high life. It's about time for the dab of the day. Ooh-wee. I gotta be good. So I know I'm gonna catch heat for this, especially because it's not really relevant to my overall point. But how cool is the fucking Iron Dome, right? Considering how much money the US spends on the military industrial complex and different wasteful projects and such, why do we not have an Iron Dome? It seems like a no-duh. Especially if, you know, you love the American public, be willing to spend loads of money going into just fucking funds that no one ever gets to look at or go over. You really want to scare the American public into giving you as much money as possible. You'd think they would just like jib up fear over Russia or China, and then have us spend billions on an Iron Dome fund. You could almost win Libby's over with that. Hell, I kind of like the idea. Maybe Americans wouldn't be so scared of foreigners if they knew we had a magic force field around us that'll blow up any rockets that come near us. Fuck Kim Jong-il. He's a little short bitch ass. But moving back to the issue at hand, the current confrontation between Hamas and the right-wing Israeli government of Netanyahu. I am not a huge fan of Hamas. I'm not a huge fan of totalitarian religious states in general. I would also extend that to Israel, that description. But Israel has constantly acted in bad faith, violated numerous peace deals, taken land, annexed land. Even if the land's not annexed, they don't do anything about settlers encroaching on Palestinian land. It's almost as if they do not want peace with Palestinians in any form. The Gaza Strip is basically like an open-air prison at this point. And then you start evicting Palestinians from their home. You start beating protesters, invading mosques. Namely the one on the Temple Mount, which is like one of the biggest fucking deals for both you and for both Judaism and Islam. It's pretty obvious that the right-wing government doesn't want peace. Honestly, I feel like Hamas has had some level of restraint up to this point. The restraint's pretty much gone. Not to say they're good guys. I mean, they do like launch rockets for a lot of different reasons. This isn't even the first time in the past year. But look at all the injustice they've had to suffer. I don't blame them for being angry. It doesn't justify it, but I understand. I understand it. So Hamas needs to chill out. It is beyond time for the right-wing government of Israel to chill out. And honestly, here at home, we need to start pressuring our politicians to withhold funding from Israel until they change their anti-humanitarian imperialist ways. I know that sounds silly coming from the American government, the leading imperialist power. But we need to change course, and we need to change it quick, because if we just continue with this centrist bullshit, we're going to have another Republican president elected in 4 years. And then if they don't force Bibi Netanyahu out, either on the corruption charges he's facing, or on one of the myriad of war crimes that one could justify themselves in charging him with, I don't know if there's a system for that in Israeli tribunals and such. Probably not. But he needs to go. That party needs to be driven from power. And freedom needs to be restored to both Israelis, Israeli Palestinians, Israeli Muslims, whatever you want to call them. I think it's way beyond the point for a two-state solution. We need one democratic Israel that accepts all of their people and is willing to make equal concessions on all of this silly holy ground in Jerusalem. You can wail at your walls, you can fucking bow at your Al-Aqsa Mosque. Just it's not that hard. It's the fucking golden rule. Treat each other as you would like to be treated. Come on. And it's kind of silly too, because, you know, there's so much animosity between Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And they're all branches of the same tree. They all three believe in the God of Abraham. They kind of just go their own way with it. And Islam is the newest one out of all three of them. And, you know, it makes sense why, you know, you don't see as much moderates on the side of Islam as far as their belief system goes. It's a newer belief system. It hasn't aged as finely. It's not as quite a fine wine as Christianity or Judaism, but they're really very similar. They believe in similar things, especially when comparing the Old Testament to the Quran. They have some similar traditions. Biggest one, they don't eat pork. That's a pretty glaring one. Not supposed to drink. Don't fuck your horse. There's so many things, and yet there's so much animosity between the three. It honestly, to secular and atheist people, it seems really fucking silly. It becomes more and more apparent that the reason evangelicals and the right wing support Israel is because they're trying to coax the end of the world, which makes them a fucking death cult. That needs to be stopped at all costs. All fucking costs. You MAGA trolls out there who think the Bible should replace the Constitution, you're dangerous. You're fucking dangerous, and you need to be stopped. Thank you for joining me. Catch you on the flip side.